Really interesting article in Reuters about rage within the machine. Brexit headline: Blizzard overloads FX algos, machine-driven trading systems in the $5.1 trillion a day global currency market are struggling to cope with the blizzard of headlines about Britain's efforts to extricate itself from the European Union, making it more expensive and risky to bet for or against sterling. As a divided government battles a divided parliament over a way forward, the chorus of characters who can now influence events has grown, flummoxing news reading algorithms or algos, which are designed to pass phrases from recognized speakers before executing a trade. Brexit headlines have thrown a spanner in their works for the sheer number of characters moving the currency on a daily basis. News reading algos are a growing part of a wider revolution on the trading floor of banks and asset managers, where machines have supplanted swathes of human traders, slashing costs and boosting the speed at which deals are done, sometimes down to millionths of a second. The problem for the computers is that Brexit is producing too many headlines for them to process. Reuters, for instance, has published up to 400 news headlines on Brexit per day in recent weeks, up from around 15 on British politics before it became an issue. Bloomberg has also pumped up the volume of Brexit content by 4 times since last autumn, running more than 1,000 headlines some days. Obscure parliamentary procedures are now at the centre of policy making, and people who typically would not feature in a computer trading model are suddenly taking centre stage. So sensitive is the currency to developments that even a hand signal can affect the price. Market makers who provide liquidity by offering to buy and sell currencies on their account also use algorithms to set bids and offers, but confusion around Brexit has made that more difficult too. Daily cash volumes for sterling were around $65 billion in February, around 35% less than $100 billion worth traded before the Brexit referendum. And this goes back to something I wrote called Currency Puzzles, and I was saying that they are the most liquid market of all in the world and something equivalent to the Challenger deep in the Mariana Trench. And I was quoting that number of 5.1 trillion a day, and I said, within the 24-hour news cycle, liquidity peaks and troughs, and we've witnessed spectacular and exponential moves typically in the early hours, when most of the world is in the land of nod and liquidity at its lowest. It's then that wizards and gremlins stalk the night. And saying, once upon a time FX was a voiceover market, but today it's entirely screen-based and algorithmic, and high-frequency trading is a big component. And I've said previously that the petrodollar underpins US power, and it's an observable fact. Speaking about the speed in the FX markets, Paul Virilio says wealth is the hidden side of speed, and speed the hidden side of wealth. Speed now illuminates reality, whereas light once gave objects of the world their shape. He calls this philosophy dromology, which he defines as the science or logic of speed. Speed at which something happens may change its essential nature, and that which moves with speed quickly comes to dominate that which is slower. Whoever controls the territory possesses it. Possession of territory is not primarily about laws and contracts, but first and foremost a matter of movement and circulation.